Good morning to our viewers in Nigeria and across the globe. It's the conversation on TOS Television Network. And guess what? The weekend is upon us. Yes, thank God it's Friday, as we like to say here in Nigeria. And of course, we're reaching you from Abuja, that's Nigeria capital city. My name is Adesuwa Osuyi.
And my name is Merciful Ajunomo. Good morning. Happy Friday, Adesuwa.
Happy Friday, Merciful. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
You look
Why do we
Friday.
always ask ourselves, like, how are you at the same time?
I don't know. I think you.
I think you should start with just giving me some minutes so I can just ask you first.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So how are you?
I think I'm very.
Yeah, it's your favorite day of the week, I know.
I know.
So,
It's
you
like
have
the weekend.
so much time to rest, so much time to do other things and prepare for the next week.
Exactly. Come back on Monday looking fresh.
I know, right? I know.
Okay, with that, we'll bring you the quote of the day. Some Friday morning motivation, to spur you into the weekend. And of course, after that, we'll be bringing you up to speed with stories, happenings, and developments from across the African continent.
Always remember,
This man I have creative design. We really like it, but
you deserve a break. You can indulge in a cup of 3-in-1 Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Indulge. Now available in the 450 grams pouch.
Okay, bringing you up to speed with happenings and stories from across the Africa. Starting from here in Nigeria, I think I like this announcement actually. So, JT Bank has announced Miriam Olusonya as Managing Director. Guarantee Trust Holding Company PLC has appointed Mrs. Miriam Olusonya as the Managing Director of Guarantee Trust Bank Limited. The financial institution also announced its new board of directors as well as changes to the board of its banking subsidiary Wednesday.
I think this is a good story because she's not the only one now. We have a couple of other women as managing directors in some of the major banks in Nigeria and Africa as well. And I think it's a good thing.
It just goes to say, I think that there's something the women are doing right.
Yes.
When it comes to handling this financial institution, I think you're getting it really right.
Yes, because we have Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala
I tell you.
at that top level, and we have women. And I think, remember when we had the show that day, where we spoke about Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's new position, I said she has come to, make way for other women because we're seeing hard work pay. So if you can do the work, if you have value to bring to the table, why not? Take up the position and start running. And I'm sure they have been doing really good because if they're not doing really good, they will not have those positions.
Yes, and one thing I noticed is these women they're very, very, it's like, they're very attractive women, but they're very intelligent and competent. So you're not even looking at the fact that, oh, okay, this person looks good, let's put her there. She looks really good, but you're looking beyond the fact that she looks really good and you're looking at she's really competent, she can do the job. I mean, it's like, it's very, very, very well.
I can see you're happy.
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm talking about Eid al-Kabir, which is just next week. The Federal Road Safety Corps has deployed 35,000 personnel for special patrol. The FRSC deployed 35,000 personnel and operational equipment for special patrol to ensure an enhanced visibility and guarantee the safety of all road users before, during and after the Eid al-Kabir celebration in Nigeria. The Corps Public Education Officer Assistant Corps Marshal BC Kazim revealed this in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria on Thursday in Abuja.
This is very important. I mean, in as much as, want to celebrate, festivities and all that, safety is very important.
Safety.
And then with the situation in Nigeria at this point, abductions, kidnapping, even when monarchs are being, picked up.
I'm saying, what is now the fate of the average Nigerian citizen?
So it's like, we're not going to take away, celebrating this festival from you, but then we're going to ensure that you're safe, while you're celebrating. I think that's a good.
And we cannot be too careful.
Yes, so it's the government doing their part. Now you as a citizen, you as an individual have to now do your own part to balance it up. I think that's what it is. All right, moving away, still in Nigeria actually, the board of directors of the African Development Bank says it has approved a loan of $50 million to the First City Monument Bank, that's FCMB, to enhance the financing of Nigerian enterprises and women-empowered businesses in the agribusiness, manufacturing, healthcare, and renewable energy sectors. This was disclosed by Stefan Nalitambi, the African Development Bank's Director of Financial Sector Development, in a statement titled "Nigeria African Development Bank bolsters women-empowered businesses with $50 million loan to FCMB Bank on Wednesday." This was disclosed by Stefan Natenbele, or I think that's like a repetition of what I already read before. But it, like you always say, anything that supports development in Africa is very welcome. It's a welcome and this is not just, you know, looking at development as a whole. It's looking at, okay, so we want to empower women. Because I know, I think it was one of the guests that came on the show one time. She was talking about how hard it is for women in the agribusiness to actually access loan. It's easier. They have to do 10 times what the men do, and all of that. And I think having to say, look, okay, so we're going to put $50 million aside for women in business, especially in the agribusiness and manufacturing sector. I think that's some sort of leverage for the women. And I'm also hoping that they're not just giving out this loan. The loan is easily accessible. They're not saying, okay, bring your husband to come and sign this for you, or, okay, you have to have this much collateral, and, you know, all of that. I just think, you know, the conditions are not very stringent. And
not very stringent and very accessible to everyone, regardless of the agenda.
Yes, exactly.
All right. A UN report has said over 720 million people faced hunger in 2020 globally. A United Nations report revealed that between 720 and 811 million people in the world faced hunger in 2020 due to conflict, climate change, and the economic impact on COVID-19. The report, titled "State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2021, was jointly published on Monday by 5 UN agencies, which include Food and Agriculture Organization, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, the UN Children's Fund, the UN World Food Programme, and the World Health Organization.
I mean, I think everyone expected this. COVID and 2020 hit really hard, especially when we're already saying, look, Nigeria, I'm going to speak for Nigeria, we're already talking about Nigeria being one of the poverty capitals of the world, and then the president said, look, we're you know, rolling out strategies to help lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years. And then COVID hit, and then all the development, progress, everything just spiraled all the way back. It's like taking one step back and then taking several steps back. So it's expected that, you know, people were just really hungry and all of that. And I think, you know, I'm just really happy that countries are beginning to look at economic recovery and then growth plan, and then having to put things in place, put measures in place to ensure that, look, in as much as we've experienced this setback, there was nothing we could do about it. Yeah, but we're beginning to put plans in place and plan for the future. Exactly.
Definitely. That's why all of this development are welcome. The approval of the $50 million to boost business is welcome. And anything that will bring about development in Nigeria and Africa and the world as a whole is welcome.
I think that should be a mantra.
Yeah, I say that every time, because yes, I need, like I'm one of the few persons that believe in Africa as a continent, and we have the potential.
We do
not just the potential, we have the resources.
We have the
human resources, which is the main resource that
we need.
We
have material
resources as well. Yes. But we just need to make sure that all of those things that are hindering us from getting those things and harnessing them. Things like the leadership, the poor leadership structure, people who want to just make things for themselves out of the way.
Yes, I think if we get leadership right in Africa, it will solve over 70% of Africa's problems.
I would say 90.
Okay. I think 70.
I would say 90, because leadership is more like it's a symbol that represents the rest of the whole. So if the first and primary and the most important person in the organizational structure is right, the rest is right.
Yeah, it just trickles down. All right, that's it for development across Africa here on The Conversation today. And of course, you know, it's time for us to bring you COVID-19 update from across Africa. But you know, before then, I'm going to keep enjoining you to keep doing your part to ensure that you and the next person are safe, because third wave Delta variant of COVID-19 is real and it's highly transmissible. And, you know, get vaccinated. Africa is looking towards manufacturing its own vaccine, but there are not enough vaccines to go around just yet. So if you cannot access vaccine, just do your bit to ensure that you're protected, take necessary precautions and all of that. Okay, so COVID-19 update from across Africa. And afterwards, we'll be looking at front pages of, you know, Nigerian newspapers this morning.
TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget and the budget they look, some of them sleep. They're going to ask how much you are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osisiogu, and I am the People's Journalist.
Many thanks for staying tuned to the conversation showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. Don't forget, you can always be a part of our social media community. You can just stay updated on our social media platforms to give you exciting content from across Africa. Not just exciting, also informative, educative, and entertaining. Just go to our TOS TV Network on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. And if you've not subscribed to our YouTube page, please do so you do not miss out on our amazing content. Of course, this is a conversation. And this morning on the front pages of the newspaper, we begin with the Vanguard newspaper. The very gaping headline there says, Electoral Act, reps in free for all, anger in Senate. And that can be found on page 8. We have a couple of riders under that banner headline there. The first, over electronic transmission of result, invite INEC chairman, NCC DG for clarifications on readiness for electronic transmission of result, whittles down provision on electronic transmission of result, and INEC to consider electronic transmission of result if national coverage is adjourned by NCC, approved by NAS, says Senate. A couple of other stories right there on the front page. Just grab yourself a copy and read on all the stories.
Away from that, so the Daily Sun newspaper, starting with the very, the banner headline there, it says, Senate whistles down provision on electronic result transmission. The first rider says, approves usage only when NCC satisfied adequate secure coverage. Okay, Buhari's fresh $8.3 billion loan. Underneath that, COVID-19, 39 UNILAG staff, students infected. NAFDAC approves 2 Korean, 1 Russian vaccines. APC suspends 11 Lai Mohammed loyalists for taking party to court. Another very gaping headline there says, I was blindfolded in flight from Kenya to Nigeria. Kano tells lawyer, says he was intercepted at underground airport car park. Quite a number of other headlines on the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. Grab a copy so you can read up on all of them.
All right, we move over to the Nation newspaper. The very gaping headline there is, Senate dumps proposal on e-transmission of result. The writer underneath that story says, Electoral Act amendment passed by divided Senate, and House reconvenes today after rowdy session. Just underneath the banner headline there, we have PIB, South leaders reject 3% for host communities. That can be found on the Nation newspaper for this morning.
Okay, the last front page we're going to be looking at is the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. The very first headline I'm going to be reading out says, Kaduna closes school for 3 weeks. No government is subordinated the other. Agitations are effect of insecurity. That's from the NBA president. Odua Investment declares 5.2 billion naira profit invest in oil, gas. The very gaping, that's the banner headline that says, e-transmission of elections results, Senate gives NCC NAS final say. Reps in stormy session take brief from INEC NCC today. We were against nebulous wordings of Section 52, subsection 3 of proposed act. Senate spokesman, Division, Beauty of Democracy, that's from the Senate President. APC senators preparing grounds for mass voting rigging, that's from PDP. And that's it for the Nigerian Tribune this morning.
All right, that's the most you can take on the newspaper front pages this morning on the conversation. Don't forget, you can always, go to our website and get all of these stories updated as they come. That's the most you can take. We go on a short break now. When we return, we bring you the big story. Stay tuned.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make it calm down. If the farm say it's happy, you want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself, oh.
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you. Airtel.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Caplets for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Caplets. This has been Medifact for Panadol.
A big thank you for staying tuned to the conversation, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. Don't forget, you can always be a part of our social media community by following us across all our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at TOS TV Network. It's the big story now, the crux of the conversation. And this morning we focus on Electoral Act Amendment Bill, Prohibition of Electronic Transmission of Result. And joining us this morning is Obinna Osisiogu, the convener WeVote. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, good morning, Mexico. Good morning.
Adesuwa, good morning.
Adesuwa, good to be on the show.
Pleasure. On Thursday, that was yesterday, there was an uproar when the Red Chamber attempted to amend Clause 52, and that's 3 of the new Electoral Act concerning the electronic means of transmission by the INEC on election day. What do you make of all of this?
Well, I think, and it has been amusing and actually stressful, distressing to watch. Everybody panicking about something that should be a no-brainer in the interest of the country. It makes me, the fact that there seems to be a lot of issues around electronic transmission of results, makes a lot of our legislators seem to act in their own interests instead of the interests of the country. This is a landmark moment where we have the opportunity to reform our electoral framework, something that's going to inure in the interest and benefit of the whole of Nigeria for years. Look at how long it's taken us to get to this point in time where we are actually going through the electoral reform. The last time we reformed our electoral laws, the president didn't assented because he said it was too close to the elections. And we know how long it took before we even got to that point. And so this is, it's almost like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I fail to understand why the National Assembly will seize this moment to put their names in gold by passing an electoral reform that reflects the true yearnings of Nigerian people, which is let results be transmitted electronically from the polling unit at the polling unit level, because at that point, that is where the result is in its purest form. Now, the concerning thing about what the Red Chamber of the Senate did is they said the capacity or the authorization of INEC to conduct electronic transmission to the consent, essentially, of the Nigerian Communications Commission and the National Assembly. It brings so many issues to mind. Let's even start with the facts right now. According to NCC, there is 97.98% teledensity in Nigeria. That means network coverage in Nigeria, 97.98%. This is according to the NCC themselves. As a matter of fact, there are NCC beliefs, or NCC has stated, you can find this information on their website and their documentation, that there are 186.6 million active mobile lines in Nigeria. So the problem is not it. And then when we look at the people who voted against electronic transmission, we have people from Edo states, we have people from Ondo states. These were two of the states where INEC, during their governorship elections, test ran the electronic transmission of results and recorded, for instance, in Edo state, they recorded 90% success. As at midnight on election day, 90% of the polling unit results. So will the senators there argue in good faith that there is no network coverage in that state? So it becomes very clear that a number of these people are acting on their own interests and not in the interests of the country. And that's the problem. And we have concerns about that law, that bill. I personally think we believe that it is unconstitutional. When you look at the Constitution, Section 78 of the Constitution, it essentially vests INEC exclusively with the responsibility to supervise and conduct the registration of voters and elections in Nigeria, the voting exercise. So taking INEC's ability to do electronic transmission and subjecting it to the approval of another agency, INEC is supposed to be independent, and subjecting it to the consent and authorization of another agency and the National Assembly is very problematic. And then this is a question that we want to see how it works in practicability. Shortly before a general election, the National Assembly is dissolved. So if the National Assembly is dissolved before a general election, in what capacity are they going to sit to authorize and approve that there's enough national coverage for results at a general election that is going to be in the future when they've dissolved? So these are some of the problems with that, with the position of the Senate. But, well, we're looking at what's going on in the House today, and let's see if something different will happen.
Okay, you talked about what's going on in the House. Why do you think the Red Chamber is still maintaining their stand? Because in 2010, they amended over 150, clauses in the 2010 Electoral Act, but are refusing, to amend now for future election. Why do you think they're still maintaining their stand at this point?
Well, I think, again, like I mentioned, it's an issue of personal interest. We have a couple of politicians who feel like electronic transmission is not going to favor them. And that's just the problem. Thankfully, we saw the records of people who voted for or against electronic transmission in its pure form. 52% of them voted against. Only 28 had the good conscience to vote for electronic transmission in the pure form. And it's clearly personal interest. And so what we expect, from the legislature is to always act in the interest of the nation.
Yeah, you did cite an example with what happened, which was some sort of a test trial in Osun State before now.
Yeah.
Some people are of the opinion, the argument is we do not have the technical capability to have this on our general election. So do you think that argument is valid?
No, it's not valid. It's actually a fallacy. Like I said, let's talk about the basic infrastructure. What's the basic infrastructure? mobile phone telephony, connectivity, the mobile network coverage, NCC has come out to say, NCC every month they publish a report of the coverage and the number of subscribers. It's increasing or decreasing, but they publish information. So the basic infrastructure, which is network connectivity, is there. 97.98% connectivity in Nigeria. That's what NCC has maintained for a period of time, consistently. So we have the basic infrastructure. Now, if we're talking, and if we're talking about other things, let's look at the fact that INEC has actually, before now, well, even up till now, because this bill is not yet law, the INEC has maintained a discretionary power to conduct electronic transmission, right? It's at their discretion. So, but what we saw is that INEC ran it in Nasarawa, they ran it in Ondo states, they ran it in Edo states, and we saw that it was successful. And what did we do? We said, okay, fine, let's have a legislation, since we're doing electoral reforms, let's have legislation that makes this, to an extent, mandatory, gives them the legal power to actually conduct these things. Let's see if we can run it across all the states. INEC has done a proof of concept, and it has been successful. Ondo states, Nasarawa, and Edo states, successful. Like I said, 90% success as at midnight on election day. So what is the fear here?
So when
I'll tell you something.
Okay.
I'll tell you something. This is why we are very, very adamant that electronic transmission happen. You see, polling unit results, election results at the polling unit level is the election results in big votes. They stay and their votes are counted. So the result at that pass from the polling unit to the ward level, something changes. It moves from the ward level to when we are doing manual transmission, from the ward level to the local government level, something changes. By the time they decline the result at the state level or wherever level it is a twisted and unrecognizable version of what the citizens have decided. And so if we transmit it directly from the polling units, then it's going to reduce instances of rigging elections. That, in our experience, has been the weakest link in the election chain or value system,
Yeah, because I was going to ask what your definition of success is, because when we talk about success, what Nigerians want is accountability and transparency. So if people are of the opinion that since they are computers, they can still be manipulated, I was going to ask, why still go ahead with the electronic transmission of results if we can still manipulate these processes from the start?
I'll tell you something. First of all, there's no proof. Nobody has made a sufficient case that electronic transmission of results can be manipulated. Nobody has done it. So, let's even start with what's currently going on, which is manual transmission of results. There are several established instances that manual transmission of results is a porous process. It is the weakest link in our electoral process or electoral value chain right now. So that one is established, is a fact. We all know that fundamentally manual transmission of results is subject to so many things. People who are transferring the results have been hijacked and kidnapped at several points in time. Some bribed, some disappeared. We've seen all these things happen in the past. Now, if we're talking about electronic transmission of results, the argument that people make that, it can be hacked and all of that, it's unfounded. But the beautiful thing about electronic transmission of results, even if there's an instance where, these results are tampered with, maybe by a hack, which is actually unrealistic. But even if that happens, the beautiful thing is that it can be audited. You can audit electronic transmission of results, and you can do it in an easier manner than it is to audit manual transmissions across the country. We're talking about how many polling units in Nigeria, and how many ward centers, and how many local governments, and how many coalition centers. How do you start auditing each and every one of them? But if you have an electronic breach, digital breach of the electronic system, it's easy to audit, it's easy to trace it. So that argument does not hold water, in my honest opinion.
All right. There's a hope from Nigerians are really hoping that the meeting today, all of this is being tackled. So in the event that we do not have the electronic transmission of results being stamped and signed by the president, what do we expect from now? Hello, can you hear us?
Well, this is what we like to say. Mr. President is not coming back running for office again. Mr. President is not running for office again. This is his second tenure. After this, he's done. And so there's really no interest for him, there's no interest in him to tamper with, Okay?
Yes. Hello, can you hear us? Mr. Obinna. All right. We'll just go on a quick break now. I'll be right back with Mr. Obinna. Hopefully, we continue the conversation. All right. Thank you for staying. Because we're out of time, unfortunately, just your final word. What is to be expected from now?
All right, so the House of Reps have invited the NCC and INEC to brief them on the practicability and the challenges of electronic transmission of results. What I expect, what we foresee happening is a situation where INEC is going to reiterate. They should, they're going to reiterate that they have the capacity, they've established a capacity, or their capacity to do electronic transmission of results. What we want to appeal to representatives in Nigeria, House of Reps members, is that they should see and embrace electronic transmission of results as in their own best interest. It is the easiest way for them to be elected on merit, and for the mere fact that they are currently in office right now, it means that they're in a position of advantage. So they should embrace this. They should not be afraid of it. They're in office, they have 2 years left. All they need to do is to work for the people, and the people will love them. And when it's time to vote and electronically transmit results, they'll win. That's just the truth. But if they obfuscate the process and procedure, then it makes it easier, even for the opposition, to outwit them when it comes to rigging elections. So this inures to their advantage. They're already at the position of advantage, and so they should embrace electronic transmission of results.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Obinna, for joining us on the conversation this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, viewers, for staying tuned to the conversation showing on your digital-first Pan-African news network. And that's TOS Television. Don't forget, you can always be a part of this conversation. Your opinions, contributions are always needed. We'll just have them and talk about them. And you can always stay tuned and updated on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. Thank you again for joining us. I am Merciful Ajinomo.
And my name is Adesiwa. So you happy weekend, enjoy the weekend, and come back looking fresh on Monday, with us on the conversation.